Today I'd like to review the book Orange is the New Black by Piper Kerman. So in full disclosure, I did listen to this book. This was a book that I listened to, an audiobook. I knew I was going to be spending some time in the car, kind of like I am now. I'm driving to Indianapolis right now, recording this. I knew I'd be in the car. I knew that I had some time that to kind of fill. I was scrolling through Hoopla, which is a free audio service from our library, and looking for something, and I couldn't find it, but this popped up. I took a chance. It just kind of jumped out at me. So I did listen to it on audio, and it wasn't something I was looking necessarily for. Also, in full disclosure, I have not seen the TV series that this spawned, Orange is the New Black. But I gotta tell you, I enjoyed this story. I thought it was interesting. Piper Kerman, in her autobiography, talks about her time in a women's prison in Danbury Correctional Facility for women in New England. The story starts off, this is a woman who just graduated college. She's looking to do something with her life. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She doesn't know where she's going. She just wants something. She doesn't know what, though. She works some low-end menial jobs, bartending, waiting, things like that. She's kind of living this bohemian lifestyle, experimenting with women, dipping in and out of relationships. And she's hanging out with this woman, and it is kind of a quasi-dating kind of situation, not really, kind of a casual relationship. And this woman is just living this exotic lifestyle, jet-setting and traveling and lots of money and wild stories. Piper comes to find out what she's really doing. She's running drugs and money for a drug kingpin. And Piper knows this, but Piper's not involved, and Piper goes with things. Because again, she wants that lifestyle, and she wants that adventure, because, like I said, she graduated college and had no direction, nothing going on. So she goes, and she's with this woman, and one day this woman goes, "Come with me." So she goes, and she starts living, not just through those stories, but now starts living that lifestyle of traveling and living in hotels. And then, of course, it doesn't take long before she is asked to actually start carrying money. She does, and this goes on for a little bit, until one day she has this really bad experience with her friends, or what she believed were her friends. It just really kind of made her wake up and open her eyes to see that she was just a tool for them, just an asset. That she realized that if something really bad happened, they weren't going to be there for her. So she decides to give it up. She wants to get away. She does. She returns to the States, and she just walks away from it. Walks away. She settles into her life. She works her way up, and over the course of 10 years, she starts to develop a kind of a life for herself. She works herself up into an important video production work. She meets a man. They begin a very good, wholesome relationship. And then one day, 10 years after she walks away from this drug lifestyle, which she never used, but she was living that lifestyle, but she never used the drugs. 10 years later, federal agents show up at her apartment with an indictment for conspiracy. Someone apparently had been arrested, rolled over, and gave the feds her name. And here she was now, who her world just turned upside down. The story goes on from there to talk about her time in prison, what it was like, how it went for her. It tells how, it talks about the court case, it talks about her life behind bars, and what it was like. This story, for me, was really kind of interesting because I enjoyed the setup and the start. I thought that was a really nice way to start it. Because here's this woman who, wasn't necessarily in a great place, but she was able to handle it, and she made good decisions. She started out bad decisions, but she started making good decisions, and things were really paying off for her. Now, obviously, you know what the story's about, you know what's going to happen. But she had things going in the right direction. And then all of a sudden, things flip over. And she has to start kind of all over again. That to me was I like the setup. It wasn't just like, I'm a prisoner and here's my life. I like the fact that the story was honest and open and frank. It talked about what her life was like. Now, that said, I don't think that the story was over-grandized. It wasn't like, she was like this little girl and she went into prison and became this hardcore badass or something like that, I didn't turn her around like that. Also, her stories were, relatively decent experience behind bars. I mean, I know that, living behind bars is never good, probably. But her experiences were not bad. She did not have bad experiences in jail. And I kind of expected that. I was kind of like, okay, this is going to be a story about a whole bunch of, horrible things that happened to this woman. And it wasn't. I liked that. Again, I believe it was frank and honest and open, and I didn't believe that it was biased or, written in a way to make me sway one way or the other. So that was good. But I just liked the way that it was told. I also liked the style that they used to tell the story. That again, it flowed well. The story kind of moved along. It just worked. So those were good things for me. Like I said before, I really like books that move the needle. They get me thinking. They get me kind of going, and maybe not necessarily changing my viewpoint, but definitely making me think about things, maybe even in a different way. This did not do that. Now again, I didn't get the book looking for that. I wasn't looking for, necessarily like, to pick it apart. It was just kind of a random pickup for me. Now I've had those random pickups and those books that like really worked for me. This one was good. I liked it. I appreciated it. But in the end, it wasn't like this, like, altering moment in my life. I think it was good. I liked the storytelling. I think it flowed well. I think the style was good. The way the stories were told were good. The things that she included were good and appropriate. And overall, I think it was a good story. I think I'll put this on my third bookshelf, maybe 3.5, maybe, working its way up to the fourth shelf. It was good. It was good. Nothing wrong with it. It was a nice diversion for me. I appreciated it, and I think you will too.